You cannot get both luxury and comfort and intense V8 power without spending $100,000 on a Mercedes-AMG or a high-trim BMW. Or can you? Is it possible to feel as comfortable as this?
I am now the world's most comfortable man.
While also hooning a meaty V8 around like this. Well, you definitely can, so today I'm talking about the 6, but actually more, you'll see what I mean, best luxury American muscle cars out there. Let's get into it. Here's my disclaimer for whoever actually reads these, and huge thank you to Sebastian29 for requesting this one not only once, but twice, even though I was a huge pile of excrement and didn't make it the first time. Let me know which of these cars you would take if I missed any good ones, and given the like button, as they say, a good old rub if you enjoy is very appreciated. Now for the first car, we've got the Chrysler 300s, which includes the typical 5.7-liter Hemis, SRT8 6.1-liter Hemis, and the 6.4-liter Hemis that replaced them starting in 2011. The earlier Gen 5.7 seem to usually go for $5,000 to $11,000, while the same Gen SRT8s go for a higher $9,000 to $17,000, but make a honkin' 425 horsepower instead of the 340 to 370 in the smaller V8. The 5.7s from 2011 on make 363 horsepower with the 5.7 and a pretty awesome 470 from the SRTs. In America, these SRTs are only sold through the 2014 model year, which I actually didn't even know that they sold any of them here. But if you wanted a newer one up till the last model year, there are dealerships importing them and selling barely used ones for like $50K. That may be kind of a crazy price, I sort of think it is, but the range of years and trims mean that there's a great option for people of all budgets. And you just never know what seller you're gonna run into. Some will be highly motivated for one reason or another, like this person that I found. You gotta appreciate how short and to the point that is. I've talked plenty of times about the Hemi tick issues. Basically, it's very oil maintenance dependent, and there are pretty easy ways to fix the typical tick. So if you like these otherwise, don't let that scare you. Most people online love to be like, oh my jeeper crickets, no Hemi can ever be reliable. They all get the Hemi tick and then you'll never survive it and it's gonna blow up in 2.5 hours. It's really not like that. If you do the bigger repair based on the stuff that I've read, it might be like a couple $1,000 if you were to have a shop do it, but that's if you do it well. You'll never have to worry about it otherwise, and a lot of people don't even have to worry about it in the first place. But anyway, as number 2 for today, we've got an older but highly loved one, and it's the 03 and 04 Mercury Marauders. These are far from go-fast mobiles with their 7.5 second 0 to 60 time from car and driver, which does make them slower than a 2011 Honda Odyssey. These also sell for much higher prices than their lesser sister and cousins, the Mercury Grand Marquis, Ford Crown Vic, and Lincoln Town Car, or the larger Continentals. But the 4-valve 4.6 liters in these make a great villain sound to go with the villain looks and villain interior. It's all very mean. And no, I know you probably caught that, and I won't just gloss over the elephant in the room and say that calling a Lincoln Town Car or Continental muscle cars isn't a bit of a stretch. It definitely is, and honestly, I'd say it's pretty far out of my comfort zone. If you want a luxury American muscle car, there's probably one brand that comes to mind. Pontiac. Huh? Oh, wait, Cadillac. That's what I meant. That was it. Mainly what I mean is the Cadillac CTS-V1, CTS-V2, and CTS-V3. They're not officially called that. It's just with the generation, that's what most people will call it. The V1s only came in a manual, made good power, and seem to go for 11 to 17 grand, but really clean ones are probably up in the 20s. V2s came with great interiors, a beautiful, exquisite, steamy, supercharged LSA V8, were offered as sedans, coupes, and wagons with an auto or a manual, and typically a V2 goes for like 28 to 45K. They're an awesome middle ground for anyone who wants an amazing ride for not cheap money, but attainable for someone who works for it and is frugal in the other areas of their life. V3s are far more for people who are starting to forget what the word frugal even means, or who have been living in a car and growing their own food for about a year to save up for one. The V3s have really awesome interiors. Unfortunately, they only came with an auto, but can hit 200 miles an hour and have supercharged LT4 V8 V8s that are known to make people's souls ascend from their body. If you're a small budget lad like myself, though, another option is the 05 to 09 STS-V with a supercharged Northstar engine, or the 06 to 2011 Cadillac DTS with an NA Northstar. Keep in mind, for both of those, Northstars have a terrible reliability reputation, but it's very largely from the cars that had them from before like 2006 or 7. They're also somewhat complicated engines apparently, but Northstars made after that have great track records and are reliable, which is pretty easy to find if you research some DTS forums specifically. And I'm not even including DeVille's, Seville's, or Eldora's for this, because those three all had only pre-2007 Northstars, but continue at your own risk if you like them. And people with much higher budgets and extra tax write-offs, or kids as most of us call them, can get Escalade Vs. Really clean ones these days are around 100K, which is kinda hilarious if you think about the people who bought them new for like 200K a few years ago, who now every time they walk past it sitting in their driveway are like,
"You fat useless sack of Yankee danky doodle shite."
Now, for another entry, it's a very budget-friendly one, and it's a few 2000s Lincolns, mainly the V8 LSs. Most groups are incredibly torn on these LSs, mainly because some dislike their 3.9-liter Jaguar V8s, which aren't always reliable, and some think that they're very boring. But the people who do like these usually love them because it's a comfortable enough V8 sedan that you can get for as low as like $3,000 in good shape, and even super clean ones don't go far beyond like 7K unless they're heavily modified. And honestly, there's no beating that price for what's basically an E46 M3. Alright, that was a joke. You can put that rock down. I did not mean it. Anyway, the interiors aren't above and beyond for this luxuries list, but they are good enough, and some manuals were made, but only like 2,000 of them, and only between 2000 and 02, so they'd be pretty damn hard to find. One very popular V8 Lincoln is the Mark 8. I wanted to include them. Maybe you're upset. I know a lot of people really like them, but again, it's a little hard for me to toss these into a muscle cars list, even with their low prices, so just remember they exist. And the other Lincoln is the Town Car or Continental, which I mentioned earlier. Again, those are just kind of good cruisers with a nice V8 in them. And speaking of low prices, the final entry here that you'd sell your great-grandmother to afford is the Cadillac CT-5V Blackwing, along with the CT6 Platinum and CT6V. I personally like the CTS-V3, looks a little more than the 5 Blackwings, but these Blackwings are good looking, also have sexy LT4s, and are offered with both autos and manuals, which that's pretty huge. They're definitely more expensive than V3s though, with a range that I saw being like 88 to 130 grand. I admit I really didn't know their prices have been that crazy lately, but here we are. And most of these still had very, very low miles. Surprisingly, CT6Vs and some CT6 Platinums, both of which had twin-turbo 4.2-liter V8s, are much less expensive than these CT5s. The CT6s are way more high-end luxury cruisers than the Blackwings though, and based on car gurus at least, pretty damn rare. Like, still eating grass and dropping manure all over the place levels of rare. I saw a few sources saying only 915 CT6s were built with a V8, and nationwide, I only found like 20 of them for sale on Car Gurus. If you're trying to spend 70K on a specific car though, it is probably not the end of the world just to have it delivered. I group a lot of these cars together so my video title's not the 29 American luxury V8s, but really 25 of them are Cadillacs. But also because of that fact that they're rare and I don't want to put any unrealistic expectations in these videos. Swaying away from expensive options though, we've got the 06 to 07 Buick Lucerne V8 versions, the specifically named 08 to 11 Lucerne Super that replaced it, and the 08 to 09 Lacrosse Super. The Lucernes come with 4.6-liter Northstar V8s making 270 to 300 horsepower and only cost between $4,000 and $7,000 from what I saw. If it wasn't for their over 7-second 0 to 60 time, I'd probably call them a sleeper, but they'll still sound way better than what you'd expect to hear from a plain Lucerne on the road. Although I did find a cool little way to tell the difference between a V8 and a V6 pretty quickly, assuming that nobody changed this on the car, and it's that the V8s have 4 of those little vents on either side of the car, while the V6s only have 3. Lacrosse Supers have a much more respectable 0 to 60 time of around 6 seconds, and the 5.3 LS4s in them are very reliable. Although they do have active fuel management, which tons of people complain about in similar year 5.3 GM SUVs and trucks, and apparently the transmissions in these aren't all that reliable. The front end does look pretty cool though, and there are probably plenty of people who love them and just didn't get so fired up about it that they went online to rant about it, but they're also not as easy to find for sale as like a DTS or a 300. If you do find one though, they're usually between 5 and 9 grand. If I did get that close to the $11,000 mark for my budget though, I would definitely hold out for a CTS-V1 over these. Then every day my boss is gonna grab his keys, walk out of work at 4:01 p.m. He's gonna look up and see me flying by like... Let me know which of these you think is best, even though there are obviously huge price differences here, or if I missed any good ones. If you've got a manual V2 and you're looking to sell it, let me know and I can give you 2 copper pieces and a shout out for it. Come on, let's make a deal. As always, I hope you enjoyed and genuinely thank you for watching. It does mean a lot. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.